All right, let's get into it. Today, we are diving deep into a super specific, super intense guide to calisthenics that basically flips everything you thought you knew about training right on its head. This is the two-set secret.
So think about it. For years, we've been told that more is more, right? More sets, more reps, just more volume. But what if that's all wrong? What if the real key to unlocking some serious strength isn't about doing more, but doing way less, just with a crazy amount of intensity?
So we stumbled upon this guide online from an athlete named Ian Barzigal, and his philosophy is, well, it's pretty out there. He's got this whole blueprint for making progress that's built around doing just 2 working sets for each exercise. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to break that blueprint down piece by piece.
Okay, so let's get into the core idea here. Why does this guide go so hard against high-volume training? The kind of training that, let's be honest, a lot of people swear by?
So what's the logic? Well, according to the author, high-volume workouts are just fundamentally flawed. For one, he says it's almost impossible to track your real progress when you're just doing a bunch of random exercises. Plus, you're never really truly pushing yourself to the limit because all those sets are miles away from actual failure. And because of that, those very light sets just don't create enough stress to force your body to adapt and actually get stronger.
So if high volume is off the table, what's the replacement? Well, the entire guide is built around this concept the author calls perfect failure. Let's take a look at how this thing actually works.
At its heart, this is all about progressive overload, but with a serious twist. It's a 2-set system where the goal isn't just to get close to failure, it's to hit 100% all-out intensity on every single working set. The theory is that this level of extreme effort is the loudest possible signal you can send your body to, wake up, recover, and grow back stronger for next time.
Okay, so the structure is incredibly simple, but man, is it intense. First up, you've got the max out set. You pick your weight for the day and you go until you physically cannot squeeze out another rep with good form. Then, after a nice long rest, you hit the back off set. You just drop the weight by about a quarter and, yep, you guessed it, you go to absolute failure all over again.
So, how do you know when it's time to level up and add more weight? The guide is super specific about this. For most exercises, think dips or bench press. If you can hit 10 or more reps on that first heavy set, boom, you increase the weight next time. For that second lighter set, the magic number is 15 reps. But, and this is important, check out the exception for weighted pull-ups. The targets are lower, 8 and 12 reps, because let's face it, they're just a tougher beast. Okay, let's see how this actually plays out week to week. In workout 1, you hit 9 reps on set 1, 13 on set 2. Not quite there. But then, in workout 2, you manage to get 10 reps on that first set. That's the signal. So, for workout 3, the weight on that first set jumps up to 25 kilos. Then, in that very same workout, you crush it and hit 15 reps on the second set. So guess what happens in workout 4? The weight for the second set now goes up. See, it's a constant battle to progress on 2 different fronts.
But, how do you actually get your body to go to that perfect failure point? The guide has this amazing little mental trick. After you've pumped out your continuous reps, say 5 or 6, don't just give up. Start squeezing out single reps, one by one, taking just a tiny pause at the bottom to reset before pushing out one more rep. It's a way to kind of trick your brain and your body into finding those last few reps that really count.
All right, so we've got the method down, but how does this all fit together into an actual weekly schedule?
The structure itself is pretty straightforward. You've got a pull day, then a rest day, then push day, then leg day, and another rest day. It's a really classic split, and it makes sure you're hitting all your major muscle groups, but also building in some serious time to recover.
And let's talk about that recovery for a second, because this guide is not messing around. The author's whole argument is that because you're pushing to true muscular failure, you're creating way more stress than in a normal workout. And that's why he is absolutely adamant that you need 4, count them, 4 full days for a muscle group to recover 100%. Anything less, he says, and you're just begging for overtraining and injuries.
Now you might be looking at this and thinking, wait, incline bench press, cable rows? I thought this was a calisthenics plan. Well, the author includes them for a super practical reason. It's just way easier to add tiny bits of weight to a machine or barbell, and that's the name of the game for progressive overload. Plus, it helps hit some of those smaller muscles that dips and pull-ups might not fully target, which helps prevent imbalances down the line.
So, why go through all this? What's all this raw strength even for? Well, this is where the whole plan really starts to click, connecting all that power to some seriously high-level calisthenic skills.
I mean, the end game here isn't just about lifting heavier things. It's about unlocking these incredible skills, like the front lever and the planche. All that foundational strength you're building, it's the launch pad that's going to get you there.
And the philosophy for getting there is really interesting. The guide basically says you shouldn't even bother with serious skill training until you hit some big strength goals, like being able to do dips with an extra 40 kilograms strapped on. Once you have that kind of base strength, the author claims you can often just skip all the complicated progressions and learn the skill simply by attempting the full movement over and over again.
And it's not just random practice either. The guide actually lays out how to program your skill work. You'll have days with different intensity levels. So some days you're going all out, 100% effort. Other days you might dial it way back to a 50% intensity session, just to focus on your form and let your body recover.
Now, a program this intense tends to attract a certain kind of person, someone who's focused on optimizing every single little variable. And that focus can lead you down a much, much bigger and sometimes, honestly, kind of strange rabbit hole of self-improvement that goes way beyond just lifting in the gym.
For example, think about it. If your whole goal is to go to failure on weighted pull-ups, the absolute last thing you want is for a ripped-up hand callus to end your set early. This kind of thinking leads to what we call micro-optimizations, like the super detailed advice on callus care we found from Squat University. It's the hallmark of this mindset. Find any possible weakness and just eliminate it.
And the advice itself is pretty simple. Don't let your calluses get so thick and hard that they're at risk of tearing off. Just once a week, gently shave them down. It's such a tiny little thing, but it's all part of this bigger quest to remove any obstacle that could get in the way of performance. And this drive to optimize the human body, well, it doesn't always stop with just performance. It can start to creep into aesthetics, sometimes in some really specific and niche ways.
So, for instance, in the exact same corners of the internet where you find these hyper-detailed workout plans, you'll also find people talking about concepts like hunter eyes. This is a term they use for a very specific eye shape that some people who practice something called mewing, which is all about your tongue posture, believe can actually change your facial bone structure over time.
And this is really where the whole journey can get a little bit complicated. It starts with a totally logical goal: get stronger with a really efficient, intense workout. It then moves on to smart micro-optimizations, like taking care of your hands to support that goal. But from there, it can sometimes spiral into much more obsessive territory. It really makes you think about a bigger question. Where do you draw the line between healthy ambition and an all-consuming obsession with optimization? Something to chew on.